The second edition of the week and the very first edition of the month of December 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and thank you very much for joining us on Viewpoint. In today's edition, we'll be talking about regional elections to take place on the 6th of December and the ongoing campaign which is currently going on. And to discuss about this, we are honored to have with us here Augustine Wendung. It is the first time that we are receiving him as a renowned journalist here in the littoral region, and of course we are happy having him. Augustine, thank you very much for your invitation. Good evening.
It's a pleasure, Vanessa Shiyong. It's really a pleasure for me. Of course, as the media practitioner, we have the obligation to conscientize society. Of course, our mission is to educate, is to inform, is to conscientize. Our mission is to be the mouth of the doom,
the voice of the
voice of the voiceless, the ears of the deaf. Yes.
Thank
and
you.
why not the eyes of the blind?
Automatically you are. Manga Venashus, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Vanessa. Good evening to our viewers and good evening to our elder brother. You know, it's when you are accompanied by, people like him, you feel confident. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation. And Vanessa, permit me greet parents out there who are watching at us this evening. And we are at the beginning of the month of December, and practically 30 days we will be, putting the year 2020 into the shelves of archives. And I must indicate that 2020 has been I call it one of the worst years in human history, and I think that nobody will want to remember 2020 for anything good. And I think that let us pray that this last 30 days see us through this year, and we put the 2020, because at the beginning they were telling us 2020 economy, 2020 finance, 2020 health, and all these things, they were 0 on 20, 0 on 20, 0 on 20. So I think that we should be, shelving this year fast. If we could wind the hands of the clock, we would have been around the 28th or 29th of December, so that this year should go faster, Vanessa.
Okay, Manga Venashus, so many people were saying that 2020 is my year. We hope that with that enthusiasm and objective, though equally say that 2021 will be their year. Let us take it.
I believe this is a platform that we need to, make such a situation known, because I may tell you that there are still some parents who did not know that something like that happened in the West region. There are some students, but for those in that particular school, in that particular neighborhood where the incident happened, I imagine the kind of personality the other teachers would adopt. I imagine the kind of personality that the students would now consider other teachers. Because it is just like every other teacher now is a potential, suspect, a potential rapist, a potential killer. Because when you look at it, you tend to ask the question, like Apostle was saying, the teaching field, we really used to call it a vocation, because you don't really go there. It was not just for those who wanted, for those who were looking for a way to survive. It was those who those who had the pleasure in teaching, those who had that pleasure in molding them up. I remember I read one doctor who wrote something about teaching, who was saying that that is the only thing that one can carry above, out of your working age, your working period. Once you are a teacher, after you must have gone on retirement, that is what you carry with you, because you look at those you have formed and you look at how they are in the society. You can be proud of it to say that I brought up these citizens to be where they are.
Yes.
That is what gives them their joy, like Apostle was saying. But then when it comes to a situation now, when teachers start portraying this kind of attitude, this kind of behavior, you tend to look at the relationship between them and their learners.
As a matter of fact, we used to run to teachers for safety.
Of course. A
child causes problem out and they are chasing. He looks for where the teacher runs to the teacher for safety.
That is it.
Yeah.
And now, when you look at them now, how do you expect? Because when you have to teach somebody, the person must trust you. Now, once that teacher stands in front of in front of a student, he does not see a teacher, he does not see a parent, he does not see an elder brother or an elder. He sees a rapist. Enemy. He sees an enemy. He sees someone to guard against. I remember we were discussing with some of the parents on this same issue, and they have started raising issues with, sensitizing their children, especially the younger ones. That if a teacher calls you, don't go.
You see that?
I don't blame them. It is taking, chances. No, not taking chances, because if what this teacher did, if that child had such a sensitization, maybe
he would have been rescued.
He would have not followed the teacher.
Yes. But with that naivety that the child had,
you're not following the teacher, he is safe.
He's safe. He's in safe hands.
Of course, that's that naivety that the student had. My teacher called for me and I don't go how. It first of all, it portrays some kind of ill, I want to say child bringing, poor child bringing. When your teacher calls you and you don't go, you want to be like a bad child.
They used to tell us lack of home training.
Lack of home training. Yes. Correct. Now, your teacher calls you and you have to reason 2 times. It is whatever he would be telling you, you will need to reason 2 times to take which is it. How would that teacher now stand to tell the children that sodomy is bad?
Yeah.
How would that teacher stand to? Because we believe that teachers, they do what we call integral formation. They form the child mentally, morally, right? Now, for that teacher now to stand and talk to that children about sodomy, talk to their children about adult, all those kind of deviations.
How do you start?
Where would that teacher stand? So in that case, it breaks the distance between the teacher and the learner.
And it makes the work difficult for everybody.
Difficult completely.
Because he cannot pass it over and the child is not ready
because
to
the child does not even trust
from him. He does not trust
the
him.
teacher
And once the trust is not there, nothing goes.
That is the point.
Voice of the voiceless. So, Augustine, from your point of view, you think that the campaign is objective? How objective it is, given that these electors have been convinced to choose who they would decide to be their regional delegate?
First and foremost, I want to say that why do I say it's objective? From the perspective that this is one party election.
All right.
It's a one party show. Because I don't see who is a challenger here. There's nobody challenging the rolling CPDM in all its phase and ramifications. Therefore, it is objective to their advantage because they dictate the pace. They dictate the pace. I don't see any political party emerging with regional councillors that can be of threat to the CPDM. Is found where UNDP, who is an allied party, or the PCRN that has just come into the political arena, Enyon Ekele. No, what we need to know is that this is a political party that has been in power in this country for close to 40 years. And it's a political machine. Because in politicking and in electioneering, it takes not only the political wisdom, but money, cash, the financial power. And if you want to talk about the financial power, it is the CPDM. Their candidate stands the chance of not only convincing the electorate, which are municipal councillors, and mind you, Vanessa, that municipal councillors do not have a budget. They don't have salaries. They don't have salaries. So it is in electoral period like this that they equally reign paramount to make fortune, to make political gains. So it will be the highest bidder carries the day.
Carries the day.
Yes, it will be who pays better.
10 years of existence has CONAC, that is the Anti-Corruption Commission in Cameroon, lived up to its expectations? Kimba Vitalis, you think that no, this commission has not lived up to it?
Yes, Vanessa, CONAC was created on March 11, 2006. And when you look at Cameroon today, decades after, you will discover that there is no change. The only achievement that CONAC has achieved is that he has successfully sent many of our ex-ministers to Kondenge. And when we go around our offices, we still see that corruption is ripped at all levels, economically, politically, socially, and in all aspects. The issue of corruption is something that a commission cannot tackle it. It's a psychological problem. And the problem can only be solved by us Cameroonians. Because corruption is something that, when you look at each and every child in Cameroon today, people already have the idea that you cannot have something in this country by merit. Even in school, people know that when a competitive exam is launched, it is very often you hear people say, you want to go and write like that, do you have connection? Or how do you expect to pass? Meaning that people have already kept in their minds that you cannot succeed in this country when you are not connected. So when you look at the activities of CONAC, we want to stamp out CONAC from our society. It will mean that we have to create CONAC in each and every office in Cameroon, which is very, very impossible. And I want to believe that the other day I was reading the version of CONAC in Nigeria, the EFCC in Nigeria, where members of the EFCC were arrested for corruption. I want to believe that corruption is something that is inborn. It's something that we have taken it as something that is very normal in Cameroon. Because when you move around, when we travel, it is like very official that we don't have an ID card. You give a policeman 1,000 francs, or sometimes they take 2,000, sometimes they take 3,000. And it's normal. And it's not the policeman asking you. You just know that once I don't have this thing,
I should prepare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when you travel in a vehicle, you hear people ask, do you have an ID card? You say no. Are you prepared? Prepared in what? To go and corrupt a policeman. And that is what has been happening.
With the Kumba incident where they were calling for a lot of people to go out and protest, artists in particular sings with the NSAS protest in Nigeria that brought a lot of artists, they were out, and so Cameroonians, they were expecting much from you guys. They were expecting that, like them, you will also come out, put on the hashtags and everything and stand as a figure to represent them, their cry. But then, looking at the reactions on the social media, a lot of Cameroonians are disappointed with the way artists behave.
Cameroonians are good at fighting their own, destroying their own. Okay. They came out, they did the hashtags and stuff, but the public didn't see it. Why are you talking about just artists? You can go down and do it. We have footballers like the Samuel Eto'os and other people. They are not speaking. We have other people. They just look only at artists to bash, and I don't think that's fair, because we are doing it.
Maybe probably because they look high to you. You represent them, so they're expecting much.
But we are doing it, and we need their support. If they don't support us, we will not get there. If they criticize us, we will not get there, because you scare people away. You understand? Mm-hmm. So we need their support. Like Peace Mission is out right now. Peace Mission, by now it was supposed to be like 3 million views. If really Cameroonians really need peace, you understand? Mm-hmm. So I don't see it like artists are not trying. They're very patriotic, and they are doing their best. You know the condition of the country. You know the system.
Unless you tell me, then I know.
I don't have to tell you. You know it. We all know it. So we are trying our best not to hurt anybody. We are looking for a solution. We are in this together. Mm-hmm. So let's do it together.
Yes. Thank you very much, Daddy Black. From his point of view, he thinks that artists are doing a lot, or they are patriotic towards your country to see that the Anglophone crisis come to an end.
You know, if people do not want, they want Cameroon to develop, if they want Cameroon to develop, they should make sure that they keep elite aside. Most of these elite, they should keep them aside and bring up new people. I'll repeat one. I listened to one man today called Bobo Bengan. He said, we have to reconstruct Cameroon. You will not imagine that somebody like Cabral Libi, who won elections in Nyong Ekele, during the regional elections, his council voted for the CPDM party. I do not know which type of elite to trust again. All this because those councillors do not live even in Nyong Ekele. I was there, I happened to be there on that fateful Sunday seat when I saw all type of luxurious cars in Ezeka for the elections.
But anyway, if they will have to reconstruct Cameroon, then it will have to start from the mind, because if the minds are still the same, then a reconstruction, be it physical, will not take place, or if any change has to take place, it has to start with the mind, like Dr. Nika once said here on this same platform.
Now let me begin with the family. As a matter of fact, Vanessa, most parents, the primary responsibility to issue birth certificates lies with the parents of the children. When you give birth to your child, the first step to follow is that document, because of the importance of the document. That's the document that certifies that you are a national of that country. That's the document that certifies that you are existing. That's the document that certifies that a new person has been born in the world. So it's a very, very important document, and the parents of the children, they don't need a soothsayer to tell them that they should follow up that this document should be established. Secondly, excuse me, there is equally the responsibility of society. I talked about the family.
The society and the nation.
The nation, yes. Now, if the society has the responsibility to follow its citizens, to follow up and know that each and every citizen has the basic documents, because the responsibility of education and other employment, other societal benefits lie on the society. If the child who grows up without that document becomes a thief because he did not go to school, for example, the society is to blame. The society did not follow up that child to know what was wrong, where the problem lies. If the society does not empower the parents of that child, for the parents to be able to follow up things at the level of the hospitals, at the level of the civil status registration centers, there is a problem. It means that the society has failed in its responsibility. The nation, the state, I will not differentiate between the state and the society. The state, it is the prime responsibility of the state to follow up and ensure that its citizens have the right documents. It means that if the necessary procedures, if the necessary structures, if the necessary laws are not existing, the state has failed in that responsibility. And so you understand that the family, the society, and the state as a whole have a responsibility towards addressing issues related to civil status registration, and the birth certificate, which is one of the three major things that fall under civil status registration, falls within that framework.
Dr. Anik, you don't see any bright future given that youth are not involved in the process of decentralization?
You know, when we talk about a country, let us understand a couple of things. When we talk about a country, it sounds big, it sounds confusing. Let us bring it back to the home. All right? Let's bring it back to the home, where you have a father, a mother, and his kids. And a father, especially the one who is in business or something, starts grooming his own children, okay, and training them along. And as the Bamilikes, they will tell you, as the Igbos, they will tell you, might be those of us who are not into business will not understand, but parents who want a family business to outlive them, they start grooming their children when they are young. You don't work until, you know, your bones are broken, then death takes over you, then the thing goes over to your kid just because of death. If you do that, it never works. So you will crash. So you always need to hold the hands of your kids as you move along. But so it works in this same politics. You cannot have people who have been doing the wrong things all this while, because they need the country is suffering because of these people who have been who have messed up all this while. Then they went on retirement or whatever, and then regional elections show up, and because they want positions and want a job. In fact, many of them have gone there not because they really want to participate in development and help people to grow. Their motives is job. What can I have from it? How much would I be paid? Sitting fees, all those little things. And then probably you used
maybe thinking of the advantages that
yes, you used to be something called something, and when you went home, it's so cold. When you come now, you might have something again by which you can be called. So many people are not there for the sake of development. If you are there because of development and you are an old person and you had nothing to show as evidence for development, personal or collective, when you were, are you getting me, in power or when you were how do you say it? Dans l'affaire. Voilà. You couldn't. It's not now that you are retired and you're old, you're wobbly, that you come and deliver. So they are only there to grab. But wisdom would have allowed that they should let the young come forward, especially the young who have been struggling and have a demonstration. You know what I mean by demonstration? Bring proof. So to be a councillor or a regional whatever, bring proof of something you have been doing either personally or for the community, to show that when you have the opportunity you will do better. If we don't have that, it's a waste of time. We just keep picking these civil servants and whatever and just dump them.
Now, if we come back to the impact that brain draining, people who have the skills, engineers, doctors, architects, experts, skillful teachers, they are leaving the country. First, it will weaken the economy, because the economy will be in dire need of these people who have gone somewhere in order to situate themselves. Because these people actually, in the real sense of it, they do not have, from the initial point of view, the zeal or the desire to leave their countries. But pull or push factors account for brain draining. For example, we have political instability. The number of people who have fled the northwest and southwest as a result of the political unrest in these areas have given advantage to receiving countries like the US, Belgium, Germany, UK, leaving these areas with no competent skilled workers that will positively impact the economy. So one of the main impact is that it will lead to a drop in economic activities, because those who are supposed to be making the economy buoyant are not there. Some of them are sent out because of political unrest, some because of what? Lack of employment opportunities. That is why they move. And when this is the case, we're going to lose powerful entrepreneurs. And imagine a country without entrepreneurs, it cannot develop, because these entrepreneurs, they have what we call a spirit of initiative, creativity, that bring new changes and innovations to the existing situation in the country. But because of brain drain, they are being attracted by higher wages in other countries.
Good working conditions.
Yes, good working conditions and other lucrative facilities and activities.
I begin with Mr. Weber, who told us that yes, there are consequences of the Ngarbo incidents in Cameroon. Mr. Weber, what could possibly be those consequences in Cameroon?
Thank you, Vanessa. The Ngarbo incidents is not new to anybody in Cameroon, maybe even worldwide. Since the 14th of February 2020, we have been living with this panic after that massacre. And surely, the massacre has been peculiar because it is not the first. But this time around, it is the first to have received the results of an investigation. All our investigations in our country are used to being opened, but never closed. This time around, we have had one which is closed, even though not in its totality. And so, the fact that these other results have come out, they instead open a wide door for more requests, for more pressure. We are all aware that before the commission was created, it was out of pressure. It was when the French president declared that he was going to put pressure, which he did, and the commission was created. After the creation of the commission, after 2 months from the date of the commission creation, people waited for the result and they had no results until the very France had to intervene again. And the results are out, and we think that the very France is aware that that is not the only case of massacre in our country. We have so many of them. We would go back to count from Pinyin to Batibo to Moyuka to Wum to everywhere. There are so many so many everywhere, and that have been seeking for the reaction of the government that is in place. If they could be doing this for every instance, many things would have happened. But unfortunately, or luckily enough for us, this time around we have had results, and we should be requesting for them to go down to investigate the other ones. Outside the question of more investigations, we look at the consequences of this report that has come out. We find that in the report, which is very, very partial, because many things have been put aside, no mention of any number is made in the report. We don't know how many people they discovered that were massacred. Nobody has mentioned that. The person who was picked for giving information in the mosque, his whereabouts is unknown, and no account because he would have been part of this very report. Well, some people have told us that their report is partial, that the details are somewhere. But why not give the detailed report for everything to be public? The other thing is that the final decisions, when you look at the final decisions, you ask many questions. When the government thinks that the people on Ngarbo need but a military base, a camp to be created in Ngarbo, unfortunately for them, the president of the Wimbum Cultural and Development Association reacted promptly and has declared that they do not need it. The people on Ngarbo need pipe-borne water, they need electricity, they need health facilities, they need good roads. And I don't think a military base will be of necessity in the Ngarbo area. If it is a necessity, then it should be created in every place where there has been a massacre. It should not only be in Ngarbo.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you also for your kind and keen attention. Elite, we are just crying foul that you should be neutral and not belong to a particular clan or tribe, thereby causing disunity and disharmony among the people. See you tomorrow, God willing. Do take care and stay blessed in the company of programs on DBS Television.